Introduction to Tones. It's the Thai tones that put most people off learning Thai. Luckily, it's not as daunting as it seems. Rather than having tables and tables of confusing tone rules, it is much easier to think of Thai consonants as having a personality. Boy consonants tend to be sporty and into soccer, but otherwise simple and boring. Girl consonants tend to be more emotional, hormonal maybe, also quite sporty, and a little vain. Ladyboys, on the other hand, are sickly, sexually depraved, clumsy at sports, not to mention self-conscious drama queens. Working out the tones is a little like solving a mini puzzle. You'll be surprised to learn that the tones in Thai are the same as we use in English. Firstly, there is what I call the no tone. The no tone is boring, monotonous, or robotic. I am a robot and I cannot speak with any kind of emotion.
Where did we come from? How did the universe come into being? Where did we come from? How did the universe come into being?
In fact, this tone is quite difficult for English or Western speakers to produce, because we tend to drop or lift our voice continuously while we speak. The way to make sure you are speaking without any tone or intonation is to keep your voice deliberately level and to hold it for a fraction of a second longer than you would otherwise do in English, like printer, computer, hamburger. The low, sad, or chanting tone is almost indistinguishable from the monotonous robotic tone, just a little lower than normal.
Sorry, did I say something wrong? Pardon me for breathing, which I never do anyway, so I don't know why I bothered to say it. Oh, God, I'm so depressed.
You can hear this distinction if you were to say, oh dear, perhaps because you're feeling a bit tired or depressed. The oh is the normal, level, robotic, monotonous sound, but dear is just a little lower, and it's also level and slightly stretched out. Oh dear. The question tone is usually what we say when we're asking a question. Why? How? But not everyone asks the question in the same way, so it's important to find a word or phrase where you automatically make the correct intonation that matches the Thai tone. For me, I always ask, are you fine? In a way that produces a question tone. So if I want to pronounce a Thai word that has a question tone, example, kon, then I get the sound and feeling right first by saying, are you fine? And then substituting fine with the Thai word, are you kon? And it just comes out right naturally. I call this the belly question tone because it helps if you place your hand on your belly when making this tone. Somehow it makes the sound come out just right. The skeptical or uncertain or surprised tone is very similar to asking a question, and it can sometimes be difficult to distinguish between the two tones. You usually make the sound when you're uncertain about the answer. Are you sure? Okay? Really? Like the belly question tone, not everybody uses exactly the same tone when expressing surprise or uncertainty. For me, if I practice by starting with, is it really something, and then saying the Thai word, then it usually comes out just right automatically. Is it really a plane? Is it really a ran? It also helps to scrunch up your face when you make the sound. Then it tends to sound just right naturally. The emphatic or exciting or energetic tone is one where you inject energy into your voice or lean on a word. In fast speech, this can be fairly subtle, like when we stress sounds in English. But you'll often hear it expressed in a rather exaggerated way. Wow! Yeah! It's best to make a fist when you say this tone and put a lot of energy into the sound. Then it'll come out naturally, like the word for 5 in Thai, which is ha, or for rice, cow. These are the tones we have in English. So if you practice getting these sounds and feelings for the tones or intonations in English, then you can use these exact same sounds to produce the Thai tones clearly, accurately, and in a natural way.